Saf had helped clean up after dinner, taking the chance to get out of educating Edith about things like holding hands and what nuzzling someone meant. Honestly, you would think that if you were going to be sending someone out into the real world, you would teach them the damn basics first, she cursed, as she walked up the stairs towards her room. She wouldn't mind a slow evening today, or at least a little nap before seeing if anyone was up and doing something later. Coming up the stairs, she glanced down the hallway and spotted Jackie standing impatiently, looking at two of Baron's guards outside the library, a warhammer swinging from her belt. Jackie, you aren't trying to get in there, are you? No, I'm just standing guard, Jackie replied, rising just a little on her feet to look down at the guards in front of her a little more steeply. Right. Have you considered that barging in if, say, Tom starts screaming while someone is in his head might not be the best idea? If he calls to me, then I'm going in there. End of story. But they won't let me put an ear against the door. Saf just looked to the two guards, who didn't look overly amused as they stared ahead. You think you wouldn't be able to hear him through that door? What if they gag him or something? I highly doubt that, Jackie. She said she wanted to work with him. Tom's not hiding anything that wouldn't make her hurt him, right? No, never. There we go then. Nothing to worry about. Then the screaming started, all of them snapping to stare at the door. I am going inside, Jackie snarled, determination clear in her tone, putting a foot forward as Saf slammed him in the chest with a hand. The two guards widened their stance. No, you are not. And why is that? Jackie snapped, head turning to stare at Saf. 'Cause what will that do, huh? Are you gonna waltz in there and smack her in the face with a hammer? What do you think that will do? Get her to stop fucking around with his head. The hell makes her think she's allowed in there? The fact she is an Inquisitor, one of the guards helpfully pointed out in a calming tone. Which means that's going to end up getting the both of you killed minimum. So stick the fuck here, Jackie, Saf snapped, with equal venom in her voice. Jackie didn't respond, instead just glaring at Saf before trying to stare down the guards one at a time, both her and Saf wincing as Tom screamed once more. It hurts a lot to have your mind read, especially if you are fighting, one of the guards said, staring straight ahead once more. So, you think he's lying? Jackie asked, trying her best to stare him down. Maybe, or he's trying to keep something private. Hard to tell. Tom screamed once more, sounding more and more desperate, crying out like a wailing kid once the screams died down. You said he would call for you. Just wait till he does. It clearly hurts. Don't go in and spook the Inquisitor. It would probably only make it worse. Saf tried, as she heard footsteps coming up and down the stairs, curious heads peeking around the corner to see what was going on before hurriedly moving on. Jackie just stared at the door, clearly tense. Fine. I will wait. I swear by the gods if he's hurt. Then you will do something that will result in your death. Understood? The guard replied, not looking at her. Saf making out just a hint of uncertainty in her tone. Where's the gun? Tom stared out, looking around the strange room before looking down. Where's the gun? I need the gun. Hold him down, will you? Good God, my head. The strangely Russian accident voice said. He remembered that voice. He didn't like it for some reason. It didn't matter. Where was everyone? What just happened? I'll find one. I need a weapon, Tom shouted out, trying to get up, getting pushed back into the chair by a pair of strong hands. Help! I thought you said you wanted to go easy on the guy. You're in there for a long time. You all right? I know. I'm fine. I would be lying if I said I didn't want to see more. There is no doubting the man's claims of being from another world. That much is for sure. Just keep him down, will you? Who? What? Tom let out, looking between the two women, not sure what to do. He had to get to Torben. And Vigo. Torben was dead. Where was Sam and Jack? He hadn't seen Jack yet. Jackie. Where was Jackie? Jackie! He cried out, as he tried to get up, the two women pinning him down. He received a slap to the face for his trouble as one of them snarled at him. Get it together, man. It'll be over soon. You're just confused. Then he heard a door get kicked in somewhere. He couldn't see anything, though the two women turned to look over their shoulders. Good, you might be... Cease! The Inquisitor demanded, as the armored woman was flung off of him. What are you... Tom didn't understand what the fuck was going on. He just kept sitting there, jittering and staring up at where the two lizards had been, as a new face rushed into view. He took the chance to try and get up. He needed a gun. He was unarmed, defenseless. He only just about got out of the chair before he too was yanked to his feet with a yelp, though he was brought into a tight bear hug rather than getting flung across the room. He tried to break free, to no avail, pinned by an iron grip. Jack! I need to find Jackie! Sam! He shouted out, pushing against the white lizard with all of his might, not moving an inch. Sam! Please, where's my gun? He cried, as he struggled futilely to get free, tears running down his face. Where were they? Why were they gone? Why did he know they were all gone? The second Tom had cried out for Jackie, the two guards had frozen. Jackalope taking full advantage, bringing up a leg and kicking the door before trying to rush in. Saf had done her best to try and stop her friend as the guards moved to try and help, but there was no stopping Jackie. She barged through the two of them. Saf was dragged along before she let go, falling to the ground. Looking up, she saw Jackie charge at the two women, standing over Tom, who was sitting in the comfy chair, screaming and writhing, trying to get free. Saf just stared in horror as Jackie flung the armored woman off to the side, grabbing her by the shoulder before pushing the Inquisitor off with a hand on the chest. Oh shit, was all Saf could think, as she saw Jelena stumble over backward, hitting the ground like a sack of grain, hardly putting up a fight at all. The armored woman rolled to her feet off the landing, claws digging into the floor as she kicked off towards Jackie, drawing something from under her cloak. Wait, stop! Saf cried out, as she tried to scramble to her feet. She didn't mean it. Glass, hold it! Jelena shouted out, as she too tried to raise herself up on her elbows, clearly panting for breath, glaring at Jackie. Jackie didn't react, instead just hugging Tom tightly, wings wrapping around him, a hand hurriedly stroking the back of his head as she tried to calm him down. Saf held her breath as the armored woman skidded to a stop, the strange metallic device stopping mere inches from Jackie's neck. Glaz's head snapped to look at Jelena, who was just lying there on her back, watching intently, as Saf slowly got to her feet properly, quickly glancing at the two guards who had made it into the room, and were just standing there staring, weapons at the ready. Letter. Might calm the man down, Jelena grumbled weakly. Gods, I need a minute. As you wish, Inquisitor, Glaz replied, standing back up straight before taking a few steps back and holstering the device under her cloak, covering it once more. Tom was just muttering and crying violently into Jackie as she kept trying to shush him, nuzzling his face, not giving a toss about what was around her. What did you show him? Saf tried, voice quivering as she looked at Jelena. His past. I learned a lot, though we didn't manage to finish, she replied with a sigh, before slowly starting to get back to her feet, shaking her head. I believe we hit a soft spot. You... Saf didn't know what to say to that, looking at the crying mess that was Tom right now as Jackie turned to face the Inquisitor, still clutching Tom, a snarl on her face. What did you do? I just told you, Jelena replied, dusting herself off and standing hunched over slightly. What did you show my Tom? She demanded. Someplace with a lot of sand. I don't understand what happened. There was an explosion, and there's weapons of theirs firing all around. Rifles. Yes, rifles. They said that during training. Jelena replied, swaying a little on her feet as she spoke, not looking up at Jackie. The ambush? Saf gasped involuntarily. You took him back there? Jackie snarled, clearly furious. Glaz taking a step forward, hand once again reaching under the cloak. I didn't know what it was, just that it was important to him. He remembered it so vividly, it was almost like being there. So much killing, Jelena replied, sounding nearly delirious. Jelena, I believe you require resting, Glaz interjected, looking at the Inquisitor. I am fine. I have dealt with worse. Didn't get to see it all. He started going blurry as the fight went on. No, you spent nearly half an hour in there, no more, Glaz stated, in an authoritative tone, before stepping in front of Jackie. And you all think very carefully about what you do next, young woman. Or what? You'll snap his mind and break my back? Come at me, bitch. You said it yourself, the same team. Fucking act like it, Jackie retorted, holding Tom away from the woman. Glaz just stood there staring Jackie down, face not even twitching. Calm the man down and put him to bed. Jelena will discuss further in the morning, she replied, turning to look at the guards. You two idiots, dismissed. It's okay, Jackie all but purred, as she stroked the back of his neck as they sat on the bed. No, it's not. Why did I have to go back there? 'Cause she made you. It's okay. It didn't happen again. It was a long time ago. He knew she was right. Didn't make it any better having to see them all die again. All the killing. He had at least forgotten some of it. Now he had to watch it all again like some twisted documentary. He cried. He cried a lot into her. He hadn't even really figured out what had happened before they had made it to the bedroom. Jackie refused to stop holding him, nuzzling him as he screamed and cried. I'm sorry. It's rough. I know. That was a long time ago and it's over. Nothing to do about it now. Jackie cut him off, giving him a nearly painful squeeze. It's over. It's over. No. She didn't get to see it all. She will want more. Well, she won't get it then. You can't take any more. Why would she care? Tom sobbed. 'Cause she needs you. Seth said so. Just, I don't know, make some damn rules or something. Maybe no seeing private stuff. Did she see you go to the toilet? No, you were just trying to distract me, Tom sighed, as Jackie leaned back on the bed, dragging him with her. I learned for the best. Tom didn't reply, instead just closing his eyes, head resting on her chest. As soon as the world went a bit black, he saw a flash. Vigo sitting there, trying to hold his legs together. He recalled with a start. Jackie quickly caught him and pulled him back in. Now, you're staying here. Everything will be just fine. I just saw them again. Shh, no, don't think about it. What about all the new tools? My mum loved those hammers, that's for sure. Tom once more didn't reply, just lying there in shock, trying not to cry and struggling to breathe, as he felt her keep stroking the back of his head, giving him another rough nuzzle with her snout. Or that annoying Adita woman with all her questions. What do you think she'll ask next? I don't know, Tom stammered out, doing his best to at least get his breathing under control. Maybe welding? Welding? I don't think I even know how that works. Yes, you do. I told you. And showed you? Did you? Must have forgotten. Could you tell me again? Tom knew that wasn't true. She just wanted to distract him. She might have the right idea, though. Thinking about anything other than that, welding would do. Anything would. I mean, do you mean MIG or TIG? Let's start with MIG. How does that compare with forge welding? No, I spoke with him already. He's staying in bed today. You dragged him for a memory bad enough to turn a killing machine into a gibbering mess. You don't look right either yet, Inquisitor, Dakota stated, sitting in her mother's chair in the Grand Hall, looking down at the Inquisitor, standing before her. I am quite all right, but I did not finish, Jelena protested half-heartedly. Even Sav could work out she was not at her full fives, even after sleeping on it. Then we may be able to help fill the gaps with what we know. We're here to help each other, but I will not let you tear the man's mind apart. My sister does know a thing or two about the effects. He will be allowed to recover. Sav swallowed once, watching from where she was seated at the once more crowded Huntress table. Adita was even among their number this morning too. All of them were staring at the arguing Dakota and Jelena. Even Jax had his head stuck through the hatch above them. You are playing a dangerous game, Dakota, Essie muttered under her breath next to Saf. But we can't let her break Tom, Saf replied, leaning in to whisper. What are we supposed to do? I don't know, Essie replied as Fengi shushed them. We are racing against time here. I need to know him through and through, Jelena protested, straining her stance a little. What time? Construction of the factory won't start till next year, and the warehouse and bunkers are hardly a grand investment for you. I cannot stay here for long. I am needed back in the capital if this plan is to have any hope of succeeding. Then choose. Go or stay. You'll be allowed to speak with him once I deem him fit. You will be allowed to work your magic once Lincosta has determined he is ready. You have no authority to order me about, Miss Marty. No. Only our cooperation. We have stood by our own for over 200 years. It won't be the day when my mother is bedridden that we stop. We are allies of both Church and Crown here. We will do our duty. You know what I think, but if you doubt it, you may take me in for interrogation next. Might I ask, why is knowing every memory of Tom's life so important? Apu interjected in a far more diplomatic tone. Have you not been able to judge his character? No, I have not, Jelena replied in a hard tone. He is a broken man inside, an easy target for corruption. An easy target? With all that we have been through, and all the inquisitorial personnel currently inside my keep? Even if he is, how would such forces get to him? Dakota protested, clearly trying hard to keep an at least semi-respectful tone, while making it very clear she did not buy that explanation. It is not possible to be too careful with the future of our people. Quite. Hence why Tom's mental health is of utmost importance, fragile as it is. Wouldn't you agree? Dakota replied, leaning forwards in her chair. Let us be of assistance instead. We have learned quite a bit about him and his home since he came here. Jelena took a few seconds to glare at Dakota before straightening her back. You are quite right. I would like to spend the time till he recovers researching his literature. I will require a translator. Thank you, Inquisitor, from the bottom of my heart. I believe Sapphire may be able to assist you, or Lincosta when she is not tending to my mother, Dakota replied in a far kinder sounding tone, giving the Inquisitor a deep nod. I can help too, Apuma added. He has brought many interesting pieces with him. That will do. I will get started immediately. Apuma, Sapphire, follow me, please. I do not intend to waste my day. Of course, ma'am, the old man replied with a curious nod, getting up and hurriedly following her towards the stairs, glass staying on the Inquisitor's right-hand side. I guess she got away with it, Essie let out in the low tone as all eyes followed the Inquisitor out the door. I guess so. I wouldn't have dared that, Saf replied as she too went to follow. Me either. As Tom lay there on the bed, fully awake and staring at the ceiling, he had to ponder. The nightmares of the ambush had been fading as of late. It had been weeks since he could last remember even having one. And now they were back in full force. He couldn't even close his eyes without seeing the muzzle flash of the MG burn into his irises, and he could swear he still heard the ring of an explosion or the faint rattle of gunfire as he tried not to fall asleep for the night. Jackie had not left him, though she had fallen asleep rather quickly once she had gotten started explaining the intricacies of why you needed inert gas for MIG welding. She had held out longer than usual when it was time for explanations, but the outcome was inevitable. It was still nice not to be alone as he hugged her in her sleep, weeping quietly. His fits and starts as he heard an explosion had woken her up more than once during the night. She hadn't gotten mad, instead just lying there hugging him and starting to ask distracting questions, trying to get him to think about anything else. She was about as subtle as, well, Jackie about it, but he didn't care. It was exactly what he wanted. Once it became clear the sounds were not going away, he had put on some music, sharing one earbud with her for a bit before she once more fell asleep, leaving him alone once more. Now it was morning. She was still sleeping, and he could feel how heavy his eyelids were as he tried taking out the earbuds. The sun was peeking in through the window, and all he could think was how much he didn't want to go see that Inquisitor right now. He didn't know how that whole thing worked, but she clearly had some sort of control over what they had been seeing. So why could she not just have let that lie? Maybe I should have told her. No, she would have just been even more set on seeing it then. God fucking damn it, I won't be sleeping for weeks, will I? He asked himself, letting out a sigh and squeezing Jackie a little. She answered with a bit of a grump, moving around a little. Then there was a knock on the door. Tom considered just not answering in the hope they would leave him alone, but looking at the sun peeking in the window, it was likely already past breakfast by now. You up yet? The voice of Essie ran out from the door. That was at least better than having it be Jelena or the armored one for sure. Yeah, I'm up. She's still sleeping. Can I come in? Sure, Tom replied after looking down. They had a blanket over them, and they weren't naked at the moment either. Essie creaked open the door and stepped inside, looking at them with a very concerned expression. How are you doing? Not great. Haven't slept yet. Oh, you poor thing, she let out, walking into the room and closing the door behind her, just slowly enough that Kira managed to run between her legs and up to the bed. Why, did the woman make you sad? The kid asked worriedly, lying down next to Tom and staring at his face. Tom had to let out a chuckle at that, looking at the kid. You could say that, Tom sighed. Kira started climbing the bed and over to Jackie to lie down between the two of them instead. Don't be. She's dumb, and Adita is strange. Yes, Kieran, she is quite strange, Tom mused, a bit of a smile creeping onto his face as he looked up at Essie. Well, I think you are quite comfortable here. Dakota managed to get you some peace and quiet. Jelena will be studying your books for the day, and she has promised not to try reading your mind until Lancaster says you're ready for it. Will that work? Essie asked in a delicate, hopeful tone. That will do nicely, thank you. You're welcome. Call if you need me or something. Would you like some food? Food? A groggy voice murmured from next to Tom, Jackie starting to move about the bed. Kieran let out a little yelp as he fell down between her and Tom. Oh, morning, Essie. Good morning. I take it you're hungry and will be staying here? Yup. The very sleepy-sounding Jackie replied with a big yawn, baring her scary set of teeth. I'll be right back. Take care, you two. Thanks, Essie, Jackie murmured, before trying to turn to face Tom, Kieran letting out a squeak as she turned, causing her to stop. Huh? I'm good. I'm strong, Kieran let out defiantly as Jackie chuckled, using her elbows to move away from Tom a bit. I see we got company. Yes, Kieran let out, taking the chance to climb up onto Tom, lying on his chest like a lizard in the sun. I'm here too now. Here all day. Mum said so. Well, I'm guessing your Puma's lessons are on hold for the moment then, Tom chuckled, rubbing the little guy's ear. Yep, no school. Wow, that's good, Jackie went, also petting his head a little, turning to look at Tom. Feeling any better? A little. I don't think I hear the guns anymore. I can still see it, though. Damn. Her magic is some strong stuff. You see guns? Is that how you make them? Kieran questioned, staring at Tom with big, wondrous eyes. No. The Inquisitor made me see some bad memories. And I can still see them when I close my eyes. Oh, that's not fair. Dreams stay in dreams. Well, not when they are a vision. Then they happen. Well, these are no visions, I can assure you of that, Tom chuckled, rubbing the little guy's head. That good, Kieran stated with a prompt nod, hitting his jaw on Tom's chest. It is indeed, but I can't sleep for it. It will come, don't you worry, Jackie tried, webbing an arm under his neck and giving him a side hug. She won't be able to keep you down forever. Still, it's going to suck for a while, I think. Hey now, you're doing much better already. You aren't crying anymore, no screaming about people who aren't there. No mistaking me for a human man. Tom had to admit her attempt at humour didn't really work as he thought back to Jack. He and Jackalope were about as different as they came. A quiet man content to be left alone or to jog along, not saying anything as the rest of the squad chatted. That did at least bring a slight smile to his face. Further from Jackie you couldn't be. And look at it this way, you got me a day off too, and breakfast in bed. Thank you, she went, pushing her snout against his chin, trying to mimic a kiss. Jackie, you can't do the kiss thing, Kieran protested, as they all three had a bit of a chuckle. Always look on the bright side of life, Tom tried humming, looking up at the ceiling. I guess it could certainly be worse.